Now Donovan, softly ahead, Costello left side, 1-on-3. Toe drags it back to the left wing, curling to the boards. Now over to Watkins, cross ice, jumping in. Watkins, back to Costello, shoots, he scores! Chad Costello goes top shelf from the left wing circle on a great feed across by Watkins with 8:16 to go in the second. The Sound Tigers lead it 2-1.
Hello, hi, how are you? And welcome to another podcast by George. Well, you know, when we started this, I said that I had a lot of talented friends, and we've got one on the phone right now. I also said we were going to talk hockey once in a while. Not a lot, but that's a passion, a love of mine, and we're going to cross some territory here because Chad Costello is joining us live from Germany on the phone, and I want to preface this podcast a little bit by telling a story about Chad. You've heard me talk about the ALS fundraiser game that we had in 2015. My sister was dying of ALS in September of that year, and I put on a charity fundraiser hockey game that I played in with a bunch of local friends at Wells Fargo Arena, and it was to raise money for the ALS Association, but we needed a ringer. We need something to draw these guys in and to make people want to come and watch. And the best hockey player to ever come out of the city of Des Moines, best skater, Chad Costello. And Chad was up for it. He was happy to do it. The bad news was he was with his team in Dallas, Texas, and the guy loaded up and came to Des Moines and participated in that fundraiser game. And the end result of it was we didn't just raise hundreds of dollars, we raised thousands of dollars for the ALS Association. My sister was thrilled. We ultimately lost her to ALS. But Chad, I'll never forget that. It was a great moment for me on the ice, and it was a great moment for my sister, and I owe you an eternal debt of gratitude, and I'm delighted to have you on a podcast by George. How's it going out there?
It's going good, yeah. Like you said, we had this phone call does travel a long ways. The time change, I think it's 7 hours, but we're doing good here, and like you said, it's something I won't forget either. I wouldn't have missed it for anything, and the hockey game, that is. And not only was it for a good cause, but a good friend, and I had a blast. It's unfortunate for your sister, but at least she got to see some good hockey, I guess, and it was really fun. Yeah,
I appreciate it, and we raised some money, and that's what it's all about. I encourage everybody, if you're looking for a charity that still needs money, still needs assistance, the ALS Association is one. You don't hear much about the bucket challenges anymore. Those are pretty much over with, but that scourge of a disease is still out there. It's still claiming lives, and they still need your help. Well, Chad, when we bring people on the show, we always background them a little bit. And your tale, your situation is very interesting, coming from a traditionally non-hockey state, Iowa, and I know you hear that all the time, and it's because back in the day it was a 3M sport. Hockey was considered to be something for people from Minnesota, Michigan, and Massachusetts. But you came out of the state of Iowa, and ironically, I guess, and maybe to get us started here, a lot of people are not that aware of you in your hometown area because, like all these kids, all these young guys, I mean, you jumped on a bus and went off to play in midget hockey and junior hockey when you were very young. So tell us how the career went, how you got to where you're at today, which is playing in Germany.
Yeah. I have to give Iowa a lot of credit. You know, I was born and raised there, and I didn't leave. A lot of kids leave really early. I didn't leave too early. You know, I played hockey in Iowa all the way up till I was a freshman in high school, and then even a sophomore in high school actually. And then that's kind of when I thought the best thing for me was to try to get to. It's not so much that hockey wasn't good in Iowa. It's just it's not seen. You know, and when you leave, you might play one game in front of 10, 20 scouts, where in Des Moines you might run into one or two the whole season. So it wasn't so much that the hockey was bad or anything like that. It was just an opportunity for me to get seen more, and that's kind of the decision that me and my family made, and I'm glad I did. And but I still remember playing in Iowa for the Capitals, and those were some great times and good hockey. And I'm not too sure if it's grown any there, but I still think kids need to not move away too fast. they need to stay home with their families, through high school at least, and then go from there. But I moved away, and I moved to Illinois, so it wasn't too far away, which was great.
Yeah,
and I played for
you're still a kid. I mean, to me, you're a sophomore. You play up into your high school team, but I couldn't find my way across town when I was that age. And you're going to another state and playing all over the country when you're 16 years old.
Yeah, it's different. It sounds crazy, but to be honest with you, they have it set up so well there for the kids that I didn't need to know my way around town either. I just needed to know how to get to school and how to get to the rink, and that's about it. They make it pretty easy. And I actually went with a friend of mine that made it a lot easier. I went with Michael and that. He actually races NASCAR now, so
yeah.
He hung up his skates and now he's racing cars, so it's pretty cool. But we went there together with our eyes, not much money in our pocket and our eyes wide open, and try to make the best of it. And luckily, it helped out a lot. I think he went to the USHL right after that, and I got to come back home and play for the Buccaneers, which was great, and it seemed to work out well for both of us.
I'm going to brag on you a little bit because I know you won't. People that are new to the podcast or don't know much about hockey maybe don't realize just how good Chad Costello is. We're talking a perennial all-star in the East Coast Hockey League with the Colorado Eagles and also with the Allen Americans, most valuable player on a couple of different teams, accomplished about everything anybody could accomplish in the sport at that level, played in the American Hockey League some, and then made a choice to move it all over to Germany. Now, where are you at right now?
We are right in between Dusseldorf and Cologne. We're about 20 minutes outside of Dusseldorf, which it's kind of a well-known city. But the team I'm on, they finished dead last year, and right now we're sitting in fourth place. So we're trying to make a change here, and it's a pretty exciting time. And we're thrilled to be here. It's been fun so far.
That's great, and they probably upgraded just by bringing you on to the team. And of course, Chad's a family man. Got a wife and 3 kids, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so I mean that even if you don't care anything about hockey, just moving to Europe and being a professional and playing and bringing your family along, that's interesting. How's the family doing? How's that work for them?
Yeah, it's gone good. I always say that. Kind of the first joke I tell is, the season is the easy part. It's getting those kids and their bags and their toys and my wife's stuff all packed up on an airplane and making sure it gets all here, and then getting them to the, of course you got to shuttle from where you fly into the littler town, and it's quite the experience. It takes a few days, and it takes about a week to get settled in where you kind of feel normal again, but it's gone good. So far, it's easy for me. I just, like I said, I go to the rink and I got 20 guys that are pretty much doing the same thing I am, so it's pretty easy for me. But for the Kane, he's in school now. He's 8 years old. He's in school. He's going to a full German-speaking school, so that was a change. And he's pretty much fluent in German now, which is pretty cool. Camden and Avery, they're under 3, so they don't know where they are. They're just along for the ride and having a blast.
Yeah.
They're just having a blast no matter where they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gone good. It's a good experience for our family for sure. There's a lot of cool things we learn from this country, and we love America. But anytime you can kind of expand your horizon a little bit and learn from other people and other cultures, I think it's a positive thing.
No, there's a lot of folks back here that love Chad Costello, most notably in Colorado and down in Allen, Texas, because as I mentioned, he was MVP and led those teams and had captaincies and brought them a lot of success. Chad, when you look back now a little bit on your career, what do you consider to be the highlights of what accomplishments are you most proud? You succeeded at that level. You played in the AHL. Even I watched you on TV scrimmage against NHL players. What are you most proud of?
Yeah, it's hard to. That's a weird question when you're still playing, because you always think there's going to be brighter days. But those championships were pretty important to me. I went a long time without winning a championship, and then we just had the right coach, the right leaders, the right team. Every player seemed like he was just molded to win championships in Allen. it was a machine that was hard to stop, and it was really exciting to be a part of that. And that's in Allen, Texas, right outside of Dallas. And the organization actually won four championships in a row, and I was a part of the last two. And the last one was when I was a captain, and that was pretty important to me. Winning the first championship was exciting, but winning as a captain for some reason just kind of, to me felt pretty incredible. And the MVPs are pretty cool, but that championship, it's something that I'll probably remember forever.
Well, I was there. I saw the last one, and it was a spectacular moment. I mean, it's something to witness. I got lucky. I think it was game 5 or 6. There was a possibility you guys wouldn't win the night that I was there, but you did. And it was a thrill for me just to watch. I can only imagine what it would be like to play in something like that. Well, at this again, I don't want to age you too much, but you're in your early 30s now, and you're a kid to me. But in the world of hockey, you're like old man time or something. It's kind of ridiculous the way they look at these older players in their early 30s. Do you see coming back? Are you going to stay in Europe? Do you have any idea I know you got to deal with the immediate. You got to worry about the team that you're on and doing what you can do there. Do you have any idea what you might be doing in the next few years?
Yeah, I would say, like most jobs, to be honest with you, hockey is just like all of them. It's a year-to-year deal, We're kind of committed here for right now, but I will admit a little part of me wants to come back and play in the United States before I'm done. That's for sure. I would like to have a crack at one more championship in the United States, but right now we're committed here, and it's been a lot of fun, and I still have a lot to prove in this league, which is, of course, every day as an athlete you have something to prove, but it's just a new challenge, I guess. It's really exciting, and last year went okay, but I got some injury trouble, so I have a lot to prove here, and I'm just going to try to do that first, and as long as the family's happy here, I'll be here for a little while, and then try to finish it up. Like you said, I'm getting old, so I don't got too much time, but
yeah, you're
maybe
real old. Hey,
looking. I would say I'm looking at 2-3 more years of playing. I have a feeling that I love the sport so much. I have the feeling that no matter how old I am, I'm going to say, "Oh, I think I could have played one more. I think I could have played one more." But I really want to try to avoid that as much as possible. And as long as I'm productive and a good teammate and a good leader, I think I should show up and lace them up and give them my best.
I think you got a lot of tread left on the tires. I think of Chris Chelios or Yager or somebody like that. Those guys play well into their 40s, so you got a ways to go yet. You mentioned the injuries, and that's something people might want to be aware of or be interested in. Just give us the short story on your injuries. Well, what kind of injuries have you had in your career?
I'll go over the big ones. I had I pretty much tore everything that connects to the knee, my right knee. I tore my ACL. I tore my meniscus and a few different spots. I tore the IT band was torn. I tore my MCL, all in the same hit. And that was a big one. That's a year process, and luckily I had some good doctors in Colorado that work with some Olympians and stuff. So I actually made the recovery in exactly 6 months, and they can't believe it, but I did. And then last year I re-tore my meniscus in that same knee. It was pretty quick though. That's they can do that in about a month now, so it wasn't too bad of a deal. I had some wrist surgeries and nothing too big, but I would say the other big one was the concussion. I took a shot to the head when I was playing actually in Missouri, and that's one that lasted a long time. It took me a year before I could, even start training or thinking about playing again. So.
Well,
I would say those are the big ones that kind of knock some time off, but
yeah, and those are big. I mean, those are painful, and their recovery time is long, and the concussions are scary. people look at you and they think, this guy's got it made. He gets paid to play hockey. He's in Europe. You got a beautiful wife, a wonderful family. This is all. There's huge sacrifice associated with this, folks, and it's on the physical and mental side of the game. And Chad has paid his dues, and I know because I followed his career as well. Chad, well, I know some good hockey players here in town, and I've played with you. Your game is obviously much better than anybody that I've ever played with before. When you look at amateur players, good amateur players, like the guys that we know, what's the difference between a good amateur player and a pro?
It's very simple. A lot of people, a lot of the amateurs or guys, I brought up a guy, Michael Anetti, races NASCAR, a lot of guys can drive a car 200 miles an hour, but can you do it at a consistent basis without wrecking something, without causing the race to be canceled due to crashes and all that stuff? That's the difference between a pro and I think anything and an amateur is your brain. How fast can you think and can you do it on a consistent basis? You look at golf. A lot of guys can birdie a hole, but then the next one they get a double bogey. How consistent are you? What is on a daily basis? How good is your game? And I think that's the difference between an amateur and a pro. Is just kind of right in that line of can you do it in front of a sold out barn? Can you do it with all the pressure of a championship? How good are you when it matters? Is to me the difference between someone who gets paid to do it. And
the other thing is, and you look at these guys that you've played with, and you consider your own game. When I look at you and look at the way that you play, I think, did he learn that, or how much of that was he born with? How much do you think athleticism, this elite athleticism, the ability to play and make money and be successful at a professional level like you have, how much of that are you born with, and how much of that do you acquire?
I don't know. I think you can improve a lot, and it's there's a lot of proof out there. You look at a guy like Tom Brady or something. You look at him at the combine. He didn't look like, he didn't have a six pack and muscles everywhere, and he wasn't that fast. He wasn't that big. wasn't that athletic. He didn't have much to give. But like I said, if you can find someone that can motivate you and bring out the best in you and push you to get better, I think that's the key. Is to continually improve and continually get better, and as far as even the way you think the game, to me that's so important in any sport is the decisions you make, at the right time or the wrong time, or that's something that you learn over time. And I remember my rookie year, I probably made so many mistakes that drove the nuts crazy, drove the coach nuts. But it just takes time, and you got to believe in yourself, and hopefully you find people that believe in you on the way, and you ride that wave as long as you can, I guess.
Yeah, and I share this information with my friends, and I post some of the videos and some of the accomplishments you've had through the years on Facebook and places, and guys will come up to me and say, "Why isn't this guy in the NHL?" I mean, why? It looks to me like he's that good. You succeeded at every level below that, but never the big show. How do you reconcile that?
Yeah, I used to lose a lot of sleep over that. That same question. What do I do wrong, or what did I? It's just a lot of it's circumstance. It's where you are at the right time or the wrong time. It's just like anything. Sometimes the best businessman isn't always the richest one. It's just a lot of it's opportunity and being in the right spots, and maybe I was in the wrong, didn't play well when I was in the right spots, and that's on me. And it's kind of a subject that is, I don't think about too much. But when I was younger, in my 20s, I was, like I said, I was losing sleep over it. But now I'm just happy to be playing and so blessed to still be playing. And the game has given me and my family so much. So it's hockey to me. I'll never have any regrets over anything. And I've always been so happy. Even men's league and paying to play. I just love to skate and play. It's just an exciting sport.
Well, you've done it your way. It's a great career, and you've been very successful, and probably the most important thing, and I know you would echo this, is you've got a wonderful family out there. You've got a beautiful place to live. You've got great teammates. One last question, maybe. This was something, again, hockey-related, I wanted to ask. I know that they treat you very well out there as an import player. How are you received overall as an import by coaches, by fans, and then most importantly by your teammates that are like native Germans? How do they look at you as an import?
Yeah, it's like anything. You do well, and they like you. You know,
Yeah.
There is a little extra added pressure being an import, because they bring you in for a reason, and they spend a lot of money to get you here, and you're expected to you know, if you're a scorer, or you're expected to put up numbers and help the team win right away, and it's a bit of a culture shock. It's different, you know. When you play in North American leagues that I was in, there's only a few imports that of guys that aren't Americans. So you got a lot in common with, you know, the Canadian guys and the American guys. And here, I think that's been the best teams I've seen, that you can't tell who's German or North American or Sweden or from Finland or Russia. You just see one team, you know, and that, to me, that's where we're doing a really good job right now. Is we're coming together as a team before it seems like other teams are. And whether you're from Germany or you know, I live in Texas now and born in Iowa, it doesn't matter where you are. If you have a Krefeld jersey on right now, you're getting treated pretty well and getting treated with respect, and it's gone well.
Well, it must be working. Last place team last year, this year, with Chad Costello, and is Jumbo on that team?
No, he hasn't made his way out here yet.
Okay.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Well, for folks that don't know who we're talking about, that's I don't know, kind of a deadly duo, Chad and his buddy Jumbo. What was his last name, Chad?
Jumbo Combs. Yeah, they call him Jumbo Jack Combs, yeah.
Yeah, Combs. Well, maybe you guys will hook up again in the future. But anyway, from last place to fourth place currently, the season's just getting underway out there, and I hope you make the playoffs. Can we check back, give you a call in the playoffs, see how it's going?
Oh, yeah, anytime. Yeah, we are, the time change is a little different, but this time usually works out great. So anytime, we'll have to get the kids on here, too. They'll tell you a whole another story about Germany.
Oh, that'd be great. Well, you play safe. I know you'll play well, and we'll check in again here a little bit later in the year and see how my buddy Chad Costello is doing in Germany. And I owe him an eternal debt of gratitude for what he did with that ALS fundraiser game coming up all the way from Texas right after they won the East Coast Hockey League championship. He was the most valuable player on that team, and he came up and really made the event, and I'll never forget it. Well, everybody, I want to thank you for listening in. This has been a real thrill for me, and we'll see you again real soon on another podcast by George.